Imagine this. You're lying awake at night, replaying conversations you already survived. Every smile you offered, every agreement you didn't mean, every moment you swallowed a truth because peace felt safer than honesty. Your body is exhausted, but your mind is wide awake, running a quiet audit of who you had to become today so no one would leave, judge, or disapprove. Here's the paradox that should disturb you. The more likable you become, the more invisible you feel. The more you adapt, the less you exist. You tell yourself you're just being kind, flexible, easy to work with. But deep down, there's a growing suspicion you can't shake. Why does being good feel like self-erasure? Why does harmony come at the cost of a strange inner emptiness? Like you're slowly disappearing from your own life. Picture this moment clearly. Someone asks what you want. There's a pause. Not because you don't have an answer, but because you're scanning the room first, measuring reactions, predicting consequences, choosing the version of yourself that will cause the least friction. And in that split second, something vital is postponed again. You call it politeness. Your nervous system calls it survival. This is the great contradiction modern life refuses to name. Society rewards the agreeable, yet quietly punishes them with resentment, anxiety, and a fractured identity. You gain approval, but lose authority over your own inner world. You're everywhere for everyone, except yourself. And here's the unsettling question you rarely allow yourself to ask. What if people-pleasing isn't kindness at all, but fear wearing a moral mask? What if your chronic niceness is not a virtue, but a strategy learned long ago to avoid rejection, conflict, or emotional abandonment? Decades before self-help culture softened these ideas, Carl Jung warned of a dangerous split inside the human psyche. The moment you over-identify with the persona, the socially acceptable mask, you exile the parts of yourself that don't fit. Those parts don't disappear. They wait. They gather energy. And eventually they demand payment in burnout, passive aggression, depression, or a life that feels strangely unlived. Right now, you may sense that something inside you is tired of negotiating for permission to exist. If you stay until the very end of this journey, you won't just understand why you people please. You'll gain a precise psychological lever to dismantle it at the root. Not through confidence tricks or surface-level assertiveness, but by reclaiming a deeper authority over who you are when no one is watching. Because the real question isn't how to make others comfortable. It's this: who are you becoming every time you abandon yourself? And how much longer can you afford it? What you call people-pleasing did not begin as weakness. It began as intelligence. Long before you learned the language of boundaries or self-worth, you learned something far more primal. Connection equals survival. As a child, your nervous system was not concerned with authenticity. It was concerned with attachment. Approval meant safety. Disapproval meant danger. And so, without conscious choice, you adapted. According to Carl Jung, the psyche does not merely react to the world. It organizes itself around what it must become to belong. This is where the problem quietly takes root. Jung called this adaptive mask the persona, the socially acceptable identity you wear so the world does not reject you. The persona is not evil. It is necessary. But when survival depends on it, something subtle and devastating happens. You begin to believe the mask is you. Modern culture intensifies this distortion. From early schooling to corporate life to social media, you are rewarded for compliance, emotional regulation, and likability. Assertiveness is praised only when it is palatable. Anger is acceptable only when it is productive. Desire is allowed only when it aligns with social norms. Over time, you learn a dangerous equation. To be loved, I must be edited. What gets edited out doesn't vanish. Jung warned that everything excluded from the persona is pushed into the shadow. The rejected parts of the psyche that carry your anger, instincts, selfishness, creativity, and raw truth. The more good you become on the surface, the darker and heavier the shadow grows beneath. This is why chronic people pleasers often feel morally superior, yet emotionally exhausted. They are fighting an internal civil war. One part of you maintains harmony at all costs. Another part feels silenced, unseen, and quietly enraged. You smile, but resentment leaks out sideways. You agree, but your body tightens. You say yes, but your energy collapses. Philosophically, this is the cost of outsourcing your identity to the collective. Jung believed modern humans suffer not because they are broken, but because they are over-adapted, so well-adjusted to external expectations that they lose contact with their inner authority. You stop asking, "What is true for me?" and start asking, "What will keep me accepted?" Here is the hidden problem most never confront. People-pleasing is not about other people. It is about a fractured relationship with your own psyche. It is about trusting external validation more than your internal signal. And the deeper tragedy, the longer this pattern runs, the harder it becomes to tell where the mask ends and you begin. In the next section, you'll see how this silent split doesn't just affect your emotions, but reshapes your brain, your decisions, and the entire trajectory of your life. Often without you realizing it, until it's almost too late. What makes people-pleasing so dangerous is not how it feels, but how normal it becomes. At first, it looks like social intelligence. You read rooms well. You anticipate needs. You avoid unnecessary conflict. But beneath this polished adaptation, something far more insidious is happening. Your nervous system is being trained to associate self-expression with threat. Neuroscience reveals that when approval becomes a survival strategy, the brain begins to overactivate threat detection circuits. Your amygdala stays alert, scanning for microsignals of rejection, tone shifts, facial expressions, pauses. This constant vigilance creates chronic stress, even in safe environments. You're not relaxing, you're performing. And performance, over time, rewires identity. Cognitive biases lock the pattern in place. The negativity bias makes moments of disapproval feel more significant than long stretches of acceptance. The availability heuristic convinces you that one conflict defines all future outcomes. Slowly, your mind starts to believe a lie. Assertion equals danger. So you self-censor before the world ever has to. Jung warned that when the persona dominates consciousness, the psyche seeks balance through symptoms. You may not rebel outwardly, but your body and behavior will speak for the silenced self. This is where unexplained fatigue appears. Procrastination, sudden loss of motivation, passive aggression, a quiet bitterness toward the very people you try so hard to please. The most devastating consequence, however, is decision paralysis. When your internal compass is outsourced, every choice becomes heavy. What should you want? What's acceptable to desire? You hesitate, not because you're incapable, but because you no longer trust your own signal. Life becomes a series of reactions, rather than a self-directed movement. Culturally, this creates a population that is agreeable, yet anxious, connected, yet deeply lonely. People surrounded by others who have never truly met them. The tragedy is not that you are misunderstood. It's that you've participated in your own disappearance. Jung believed the psyche cannot remain divided forever. What is denied consciousness does not remain passive. It seeks expression through breakdown or breakthrough. The longer you ignore the internal tension, the louder it becomes. Until one day, you realize your life feels strangely chujoi, as if you're living someone else's script. This is the urgency most never recognize until a breaking point. People-pleasing doesn't just steal your voice. It steals time, direction, fate. But this is where the story turns. Because the same psychology that trapped you also contains the exit. In the next section, you'll encounter a framework drawn from Jung's most powerful ideas, not to help you be more confident, but to fundamentally reorganize your relationship with fear, identity, and inner authority. What comes next is not comfort, it's liberation. What if the goal was never to stop pleasing people, but to stop needing their permission to exist? This is where Carl Jung becomes radically misunderstood. Jung did not believe freedom comes from confidence, positivity, or social skills. He believed freedom emerges when the psyche becomes internally aligned. And alignment does not happen by improving the persona. It happens by dethroning it. Here is the framework, distilled from Jung's deepest work, yet rarely applied in modern life. Step 1. Voluntary discomfort as a signal of truth. Jung observed that the psyche communicates through tension. When you feel anxiety at the thought of saying no, that discomfort is not a warning. It is a compass. Instead of asking, "How do I reduce this feeling?" you reverse the question, "What truth is trying to enter consciousness right now?" People pleasers anesthetize discomfort. Individuated individuals study it. You learn to treat inner tension as data, not danger. Here's the real-life application. Imagine your manager asks you to take on extra work late Friday evening. Your mouth prepares to say sure, but your chest tightens. Old pattern. You override the tension and agree, then resent it all weekend. New application. You do nothing externally, yet. Internally, you register the discomfort without anesthetizing it. You don't reframe it. You don't justify it. You simply note, there is a misalignment here. This step changes nothing on the surface, but everything internally. You stop treating discomfort as a problem and start treating it as information. Step 2. Shadow reversal, granting legitimacy to the unacceptable. The shadow is not integrated by expression, but by permission. Jung emphasized that wholeness requires acknowledging your capacity for selfishness, anger, dominance, and withdrawal, without acting them out blindly. The framework here is internal legalization. You consciously grant psychological citizenship to traits you were taught to exile. Once legalized, they no longer need to hijack your behavior. They become resources instead of saboteurs. Here's the real-life application. Later that night, a thought appears. I don't want to do this. It's not fair. Previously, you would label this thought as selfish or ungrateful and suppress it. Now, you do something radical. You allow the thought psychological legitimacy, not action, legitimacy. You internally admit, I am capable of refusal. I am allowed to protect my energy. Once acknowledged, the thought no longer needs to sabotage you through resentment or passive aggression. It becomes calm, contained power. Step 3. Authority shift, from social feedback to inner law. People-pleasing collapses when you replace external validation with what Jung called an inner telos, a felt sense of rightness, independent of approval. This is not intuition in the mystical sense, but a disciplined listening to what strengthens rather than depletes you. You begin measuring choices by a new metric. Does this increase or drain my psychic energy? Over time, this becomes non-negotiable law. Here's the real-life application. Before responding to your manager, you ask a different question. Not, will they be upset? But, does agreeing to this expand me or diminish me? The answer is immediate and bodily. You feel depletion at the idea of saying yes. That sensation becomes law, not emotion, not mood, law. Step 4. Strategic non-adaptation. Here is the radical move. You stop explaining yourself. Jung warned that over-explanation is a sign of unconscious guilt. Instead, you practice selective opacity, not withdrawal, not aggression, but calm, non-justification. This destabilizes old dynamics instantly, because your identity is no longer negotiable. Here's the real-life application. Your manager pauses. The silence stretches. Old you would rush to soften it. New you hold steady. You do not fill the space. You do not negotiate your own boundary. The dynamic shifts. not because you dominated, but because you withdrew your need for permission. This is individuation in action. Calm refusal without hostility. Presence without performance. This framework does not make you harsher. It makes you real. And reality, paradoxically, commands more respect than compliance ever could. In the final moments, you'll see how this inner shift doesn't just change relationships. It alters how you move through existence itself. And why, once you see this, you can never unsee it. So here you stand, at the threshold between the person you've been performing and the person you actually are. The choice before you isn't comfortable. Jung never promised comfort. He promised wholeness. And wholeness requires you to betray the very strategies that have kept you safe, or at least kept you from feeling the full weight of your own abandonment of self. Understand this. Every day you continue people-pleasing is another day you teach yourself that your authentic existence is negotiable, that your needs are secondary, that your truth is too dangerous to speak. The shadow doesn't shrink with time. It metastasizes. The resentment doesn't dissipate. It calcifies into bitterness, into chronic illness, into a life half-lived in service to a self that was never real. But here's what Jung knew that changes everything. The moment you stop running from your shadow, the moment you turn and face what you've been calling monstrous, you discover it's been waiting for you all along, not to destroy you, to complete you. Your anger isn't evil. It's the guardian of your boundaries. Your selfishness isn't toxic. It's your capacity for self-preservation. Your difficulty isn't a character flaw. It's your refusal to be diminished. The person who emerges from shadow integration isn't cruel or callous. They're simply whole. They can be kind without self-erasure, generous without self-betrayal, loving without self-abandonment. They've stopped seeking approval and started commanding respect, not through dominance, but through the quiet authority of someone who knows exactly who they are and refuses to apologize for it. If this exploration has unsettled something in you, if you're feeling the uncomfortable stirring of recognition, then like this video, share this with someone who needs to hear it. The algorithm rewards engagement, yes, but more importantly, there's someone in your life right now who's suffocating under the weight of their own people-pleasing. And this message might be the permission they need to finally breathe. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of unflinching psychological archaeology, because we're just getting started on the work of becoming undeniably, unapologetically yourself. The question that started this journey was, what do you actually want? But now you understand it's not a question at all. It's an invitation to stop performing, to stop fragmenting, to stop making yourself smaller so others can feel more comfortable. Your shadow has been waiting in the darkness, patient and persistent, holding every part of you that you deemed unacceptable. It's time to bring it into the light, not to destroy it, but to reclaim it, not to fear it, but to integrate it. The person you're afraid of becoming, that's who you've always been. The monster you've been hiding from, it's been your truest self all along, banging on the walls of your unconscious, begging to be recognized, demanding to be lived. Integrating with your shadow is the only way to stop people-pleasing. The people-pleasing is killing your true, powerful, authentic personality, slowly, quietly, one inauthentic yes at a time. Now that you got this framework, apply it and start living consciously, wholly, unapologetically. The shadow is calling. Will you finally answer?
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more of such deep, thought-provoking content.